Hello everyone, welcome to Real English Online. Today we're going to be having a closer look at the Fce Speaking exam, which is the first certificate from Cambridge. So before we get into it, I thought we'd go through a couple of facts about this exam, alright? So you'll probably know this, or hopefully you do if you're taking this exam already, but when you're taking this exam there will be two candidates, alright? So there's going to be two students going in together, and there will also be two examiners in the room, alright? So a lot of you already are going, two examiners, but don't worry, one of them will be asking the questions and another one will be either usually to the side of you, and that's the examiner who's doing all the marking and things like that, alright? So let's have a little look at what they actually do in this part of the test. They ask personal questions. That's pretty much it. Alright? So the basics here. In this part of the exam, they will ask both the candidates personal questions about their lives, about their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes, anything. Alright? And they're going to be doing this for about 3 minutes approximately. And this is a really nice part of the exam. It's a chance for you to warm up and make a good impression on the examiner. We're going to be releasing several videos on the Fce, so make sure that you subscribe and you'll get the videos as they come out, because there's going to be lots of speaking practice there and also lots of tips, especially for the writing. Okay, so let's have a look at some questions that you could face. Where do you live? What do you like about living there? What do you usually do in your free time? Which sports do you enjoy? What sports do you play at school? Alright, so you can see that the questions aren't too complicated. They're fairly easy to answer, but they can come in a range of topics. Yeah, so hobbies, technology, school, music, sports, films, food, and these are just a few of the topics. There are quite a few of them, and if you think that there's a topic that you don't really maybe know vocabulary for, or you need to know more on, you really need to look at some vocabulary. Check out some of our white vocabulary videos. There's all sorts of videos out there on our YouTube channel to boost your vocabulary in these areas. Okay? Right, so tips for this part of the test. And I think the hardest thing about this part of the test is the fact that a lot of students just think it's so easy, and therefore they don't do a couple of things that they should do to get maximum marks and to make the best impression on the examiners. So the first tip, be enthusiastic, and I can't stress this enough. You've got to put yourself in the position of an examiner, and trust me, being an examiner is difficult. Alright, I work at a school and I examine students, and after examining 15, 16 students, I am tired. It is really tiring work. So it's good to be enthusiastic, because if an examiner sees someone who comes into the room and wants to speak English and is cheerful about doing so, it makes a good impression and you're going to get high marks. Whereas if you're like kind of sitting there going, hello, yeah, I suppose, no, not really. You're not going to get very good marks, and you're definitely not going to make a good impression on the examiner. So this is very important. Be enthusiastic. Expand your answers, another one. Because the questions are so easy, a lot of people don't answer them fully. And they'll give very brief answers, and certainly never ever ever give a 1 or 2 word answer. Yeah? This is an English exam. You have 12 to 15 minutes to show the examiner that you can speak English. And that's what the examiner is going to mark you on. So if you go in there and give one-word answers and things like that, you are not going to do nearly as well as you could do. Yeah? Expand your answers, use examples, explain things. Yeah? If you play football twice a week, explain why you play football twice a week. And this will help show the examiner your level of English. Listen carefully to the questions. Another major trap here. Again, you've probably been doing lots of practice in personal questions for years now in English. And because of this and the stress of the exam, sometimes, or in fact quite a lot of the time, students will mishear a question. Like maybe the examiner will say, do you like playing sports? And someone will start talking about not liking, talking about team sports or something like this, which is not specifically answering the question. So you have to be very careful, and if you don't hear a question, just say, sorry, can you repeat that please? You have to answer the question. Again, otherwise you're going to lose marks, which is a shame. Alright, so that was part one of the test. I hope this video has been useful. If you like what we do, remember to subscribe because there's going to be a lot more coming. Bye for now.